Good evening, everybody. Welcome remotely to Esher College Maths Department. I'm absolutely delighted that you've joined the meeting. It's very nice to not see you, so to speak. Please do feel free, because this is your session. Please do feel free to drop your questions into the chat box, and then hopefully I'll pick them up as we're going through. And some students will be joining us also, so you'll be able to hear some of their responses to your questions if you wish to ask them anything at all. So please do think of questions you'd like to ask us, and by all means drop them into the chat box. Just give you 1 or 2 minutes to think about that. I'm going to find a very nice slide of the department. All the teachers that we have, they're exceptionally dedicated, very professional, and superbly well qualified, and they just really love maths and the teaching of it. It's pedagogy. So we have a question here: how difficult is the maths course compared to GCSE? Is that right? Yes, I think, everybody speaks of this jump up from GCSE to A level. You're right, it is quite significant, but we do, try to ease you in. We make sure that we give you a bridging unit, an induction to the subject, and it's very much work that you would have had prior knowledge of from GCSE, and we build on that. So we do try to ease you in. We set an initial assignment so that you can, brush up over the summer, because it's very easy, I suppose, to forget some things over the long summer break. But we hope that you keep in practice with your maths, and then you should be ready to join us. So we do spend time on, say, coordinate geometry, quadratics, things that you are already familiar with. And of course, there will be that uplift, that additional challenge as well. So thank you for that question. It was a good one. Yes, so for the A-level maths course, the question is, what are the required grades? We would like to see at least a grade 6 at GCSE. Obviously, you want to do the best that you possibly can at GCSE to provide yourself with the best foundation for this subject. So I would say, if you're predicted a 6, push it on, aim for that 7. If you're predicted a 7, push it on that 8. Really try and excel in maths at GCSE. It will stand you in good stead. Yes, how many groups are there in maths? Good question. I mean, we are a very large department. We've got over 500 students on maths courses. So it's busy, it's thriving. The students really enjoy their maths here. So I would say in 6-1, so currently this year we have 10 to 11 groups. We had 11 last year. I think, yes, we've got 10 groups this year. Or was it 11? Now you've maybe 10 or 11 groups of, say, 20 in each. Yes, and so that's lower 6, yeah, 6-1. How much different is further mathematics from mathematics? Yes, I mean, it is different. I think that's the key word. Further maths is different, but not necessarily more, perhaps more difficult at first. So what we do here at Esher is the further mathematicians, they will start really just learning, I say ordinary maths, if maths could be ordinary. So they follow the A-level maths course, which they complete in a year. They don't take the exam at the end of the first year. We wait, and they will sit the exam alongside all their other subjects in the summer of the following year, so year 2. So they complete their A-level content, and they build up all those necessary skills so that they move on then to further maths. They start that in the summer and then move on to the full A-level in further maths in year 2. Yeah, the main difference in further maths and maths. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of calculus. You've mentioned that there in your message. Yes, there's a lot of methods in calculus. So if you already have had experience of perhaps differentiation, if you're doing maybe some further maths already at GCSE, so level 2, at a level 2 stage, yeah, be prepared to build on that, not just in maths, but in further maths as well. But you'll also meet different types of number, like complex numbers. There'll be other things that, perhaps you won't meet ordinarily, matrices, for example. And you also extend your differential equations and other methods in calculus, which I mentioned already. So it's very exciting. Yeah. Oh, polar coordinates as well. Yes, that's a very good one too. Whereas in A-level maths, it would be pretty much Cartesian coordinates. Okay. Yeah, so how many students are taught in a maths lesson? So we have numbers of approximately 20 in each group. So that's a good number. It enables you to, work in groups and also rotate and work with other people within that group. A lot of the work that we do is on whiteboards, like the one behind me here. I don't know if you can see. And the students work collaboratively on problems, writing on the boards, and the teachers will go around and give their feedback and guide them through if necessary. But we're all very careful not to steal the struggle as teachers. You have to grapple with the problems and get there yourselves. Do you have to have studied advanced maths at GCSE to manage further maths at A level? No, but we would say for further maths, you want to have a high grade at GCSE. So you really want to push your understanding to its maximum level at GCSE, make sure you tackle all the algebra, and really aim for that 9. So if you're on the way, so you're sort of grade 7 to grade 8, we certainly would welcome you, but do push it as far as you possibly can, and that will really aid your transition if you are interested in further maths. Do we have homework? Yes, we set 2 homeworks every single week. We have course leaders here and they set a homework, and your class teacher will set one also. And the homeworks here are very carefully planned. The worksheets are really comprehensive. They're in 3 sections, topic-based, so you'll be tested on a few sort of entry level, if you like, consolidation type questions. There'll be a section B where it's perhaps a little bit more involved, and the final section will be exam standard questions. So there's a lot to get your teeth into, and you will get the experience of a lot of different types of exam questions, if you like. So we do encourage students to complete their homework entirely, and we run a maths clinic every single lunchtime. So teachers here give generously of their time to support the students. It's a drop-in. Sometimes it may be at our behest that we tell you to go, but predominantly it's for students of their own volition to just drop in and ask us help as necessary. Do we have independent study as well as homework? Yes, good question. You will. We certainly expect a good 10 hours at the very least. That's the recommended. This 10-hour message will probably be coming through loud and clearly tonight. Essentially, you will have your curriculum time in school, so your timetabled periods. So we teach you for an hour and 5 minutes, and that's going to be 4 times a week. And then the remaining, say, 5, maybe 6 hours, even if you want to push it onto that. We'll expect you, obviously to do those 2 assignments that I mentioned already, and any other independent work that you would like. The independent work, we do actually support you in that we would provide enrichment. We've got Bob here who runs a puzzle every week and goes through it. There's an exposition of that on a Friday. We obviously take part in math challenges. So there's a lot going on for students. And we certainly can help you fill your time in that respect. So yeah, if you take further, yes, that's right. So it's back to you're very interested in the further maths tonight. That's excellent. Thank you for all your questions in that way. Yes, the further maths is your 4th option. We strongly recommend that students who are taking further maths take it as that 4th. And the reason is obviously maths and further maths make up 2 of your A-level choices. So, you can imagine that is, enriching your choices in a biased way, perhaps towards the maths. And, obviously further maths is very difficult. I don't want to put you off here. I want to encourage you, of course, but you will find it challenging enough. That's why you would do it, for the love of that challenge. So, if it inevitably doesn't quite work out for you, or not inevitably, sorry, if it perhaps doesn't quite work out, that you either need further maths for your university course, or perhaps you're making more of a strategic move to perhaps promote your results, give them a lift in the other curriculum choices, then maybe further maths would be dropped. But we don't want to really talk about things like that maybe now, but you have to understand that if you are taking further maths, you are a very high caliber student. We wouldn't load you with 4 A levels if we didn't think that perhaps in terms of your profile thus far, give us evidence that you would be able to cope with it. So so if you only get a 6 at GCSE, will you struggle at A level? I mean, there's this natural struggle that we would like to see happen with any kind of maths learning. And that's a good struggle, if you see what I mean. What is perhaps not so good is when there's lots of gaps in prior knowledge. And that can happen for all sorts of reasons, and if that's not remedied early, it can, obviously the gaps just, get bigger because it's sequential, and, things build on prior learning. So that can end up being an issue. So those struggles are different to the struggles that we would like to see you do, that are actually positive, and really, enable you to develop as a mathematician. But there is support for you. I've mentioned Maths Clinic. We've just started a peer mentoring program here as well. So, it's not as if we would leave you to flounder, but my strong advice would be, really master your algebra at GCSE. You really tackle all those tricky questions at that level as well. Really try and push your understanding as well. That would be my advice. Thank you for the question. Yeah, how many math teachers? Let me just show you the math department. I was actually going to do that, wasn't I? So let's see. Yes. Now look at these wonderful people here. So yeah, I think that's a lovely photo. We all seem to be smiling in that one. Okay, so we have 9 members of staff here in the photograph. Many work full time, and just look. They're superbly welcoming, and exceptionally supportive. And they're really very competent teachers. So I know it's Perhaps you might say it's easy for me to wax lyrical about my department, and I know them well, but you're going to get a very, very good deal from any one of these superb people. So yes, that's the maths department. Oh, I didn't show you. There's the names as well. You know what? I don't think I actually introduced myself, did I? Yes, it can be quite daunting and nerve-wracking. Even though I can't see you, I'm conscious that, yeah, so sorry, I'm Sam Cook. I'm head of maths, and I do apologise for not saying that sooner. But I do welcome you sincerely and wholeheartedly. I'm very happy that you've taken interest in our subject. Okay, so are there lots of different equations to learn, and will they be on the A-level paper? Um, there's not so much really in the way of equations to learn. What you need to be very good at is the application of your maths. So there's obviously techniques that we'll need to teach you. There's lots of identities that you need to use. There will be some standard results in your calculus, and there is a formula booklet. So Exhibit A here. And in that formula booklet, which is provided to you in the exam, you'll find lots of, useful results in there that you can use. The binomial expansion, for example, some of you may have met that already, will be in there. So yes, there is a formula booklet, yes. Will you set 10 hours of work each week, or will students be expected to come up with their own study tasks? Yes, we would strongly encourage you to become as independent as possible, as soon as possible. There's a very, very strong correlation, more so than really with anything else regarding your progress. So if you can get into and make it a habit, make it a very good habit, an excellent habit, to do that extra bit, we can certainly guide you with that, as I've mentioned already. There's plenty to extend you here, to enrich you here. And also we have those wonderful worksheets that we set each week. And as I mentioned, they're carefully planned and thought out to give you the best possible experience. I'm just going to close this door. I don't know if you can hear that talk. Okay, sorry about that. So yes, we would expect that minimum of 10 hours to be spent on maths each week, but that includes your curriculum time. So that would be your timetabled lessons. So that's going to account for over 4 hours, because each of an hour and 5. So that's easy math to do. And then obviously the remaining hours would be spent on your homework. It may include your visits to math clinic as well, for example, but anything extra that you do on top of that, yes. Yes, for normal maths, as you say, it is indeed. Oh, this is Amity. Hello, Amity. Amity, I can see you. Amity is one of our students. I was thinking, where are the students? And I think there might be quite a large number in the meeting currently, but we do have members of the student body that have actually joined from different classrooms or from home. So Amity, if you could turn your audio on, you might be able to answer that question instead of typing it. And Max, there we are. Max, are you able to put your audio on? Oh, the mics are disabled, are they? Oh, what a shame. Anyway, the students, I've seen their names come up. Sorry, my eyesight's not the best and it's very small type, but there's Max Nicholson in the chat as well, and Amity, I can see you there as well. And I'm sure I've missed a few also. So those are our students of maths and further maths as well. Peter's there. It's such a shame really that you can't hear them, because they're just wonderful ambassadors for the subject. These are students that really, really enjoy you know, working on problems, sharing their ideas and logic. Okay, so what are the average leaving grades for most students who've done A-level mathematics? Yeah, I mean, we had a wonderful set of results last year. Really very, very proud of our students. Um, the you know, to get a proportion of high grades that were higher than you know, the grades that we issued last year and the year before. You know, we talk about the sort of lockdown period where it went to was it CAGs and tags, teacher assessed and centre assessed grades. But you know, the students did us proud. We were so very proud of them. So we had some superb results um, there amongst the cohort. Do you teach math? Oh gosh, yeah. Is it possible to request the slideshows for future lessons if you wish to be ahead of classes? Yes, we do. Ah, I didn't mention that, did I? So we use Teams um, to set assignments, you know, to collect your work from you, submit via Teams. And we also have OneNote, which is used to, you know, record lessons or to put notes in, and all the students would be able to access that after the lesson. It's not always the case we would use it in the lesson. A lot of it is, as I mentioned, on the whiteboards. But there will be records of lessons in that way, if not all the time. Yeah. So there's a long question here. What does that say? I can see actually, thank you so much. I mean, the students, I don't know, they've done such a good job here. They may actually be answering your questions directly. So do check the chat box, please, for that. So yes, we do teach maths in the first year, then further maths in the second, yes. And yeah. How many topics are covered? Well, I mean, gosh, because of the interrelated nature of the subject, and I think the sooner you get the measure of that, the better. A lot of, you know, there's a lot of overlap, which I suppose is a very good thing. So what you will be doing is, I have a year 2 book here at the moment, but oh, I might be able to share the curriculum plan. I might try and do that. Oh gosh, there's people waiting in the lobby. Maybe I should just enter those people. Yeah. Do I have a curriculum plan up here? Ah, this is an example. I mean, it's going to be very, very small. I'm not quite sure if this is actually coming up or not just yet. Oh, look, there's some nice pictures of students from Maths Clinic. It's a very good resource. It's usually very well attended, and we have a sort of leaderboard with that, so that's very nice. Yeah, I wonder if I can share this now. Thinking and doing at the same time. Now this is going to be very, very small, but it is supposed to be a summary. Gosh, that might give you an idea actually of what we're going to do in the first term. So let's just see that there. So this would essentially be the first term for you. I'll try and make that even bigger. So you can see how you know, a lot of these topics will be those that you study already at GCSE. So we have linear functions, so that's your coordinate geometry with straight lines. There's quadratic functions, circles, surds and indices. You can see the maths challenge in there as well, because that takes place in November, October, November. Oh, sorry, no, October this year. Beg your pardon. We've actually got the kangaroo coming up next week. That's the second round for senior. Exponentials and logs, that kind of thing. So that will take you through. So we do a lot of pure to start with. So you can see all of the blue is pure maths. And then we start to look at, weave in the applied. So we have mechanics and we have statistics as well. So we weave those topics in as they kind of fit in with the pure teaching as well. And you can see that's the second term. So there's quite a bit of applied going into the second term. And we end the year actually with Wider Skills Week, which, at the moment we're planning a trip to Bletchley, and actually the students don't really know that yet, but I better not say too much. It might be a big surprise for them. So yes, thank you so much, students, for answering individual queries. Okay, so I think we're possibly coming to the end of the session. I do hope that you did receive an answer to your questions. Oh, thank you very much. That's a very nice message to receive. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining the meeting, and it was very good to share this time with you. And thank you to the students as well.